tässä omistamin hyökkäysvuoro jatkuu. Mikäli hyökkäysvuoro on tehokas ja pääsee tuonne kentän yli merkitylle viivalle, on syntynyt touchdown eli maali. Ja lopputuloksessaan touchdownista annetaan 6 pistettä. Ruotsalaisen touchdownin jälkeen hyökkäjä on vielä käytössään lisäpisteyritys. Se voidaan hoitaa 2 tavalla, tuosta kolmesta lähdöstä voidaan potkaista tuo päivä tuonne kentän päässä näkyvään haarukkaan. Mikäli tuotto onnistuu, niin tuotta palkitaan siitä 1 pisteellä. Mikäli pisteitä tarvitaan kymmenessä ottelussa vähän enemmän, niin voidaan kokeilla vähän vaikeampaa peliä.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second game of the 2013 Women's Tackle Football World Championships. The first game earlier today ended with a Finnish victory against the newcomer Spanish team, 47-0, if I remember correctly. My name is Anna Banhedi. I play football for the Budapest Wolves ladies team, and I will be your commentator for the entire tournament. Now bear with me because for this game I am by myself, so if I fail to look up stats in time or mention the name of your favorite player or a relative, that is because I am trying to do 3 things at once. So I will try to do the play-by-play and the color commentary and be the statistician. But now what you are seeing is the team captains lined up for the coin toss. And after the coin toss, the decision will be announced in just a little bit. It seems like the US deferred, and the Swedish team will receive, but let's see what the referee says. Yes, the Swedish team elected to receive the ball and will be going on your screen from right to left. This game between the United States and Sweden will have the US as the home team and Sweden as the away team. And we already had the national anthems and the introduction of the referees and the team's starting lineup. So let me go ahead and tell you a little bit about our officiating crew today. It is an international crew. At this tournament, we have 14 officials from 8 different countries. Today's second game officials are referee Anni Tahtinen from Finland, umpire Gudrun Bogman from Germany, linesman Elizabeth Binder from Austria, line judge Chiara Thomas from Italy, field judge Brigitte Dötzel from Austria, side judge Mona Rickert from Germany, and back judge Danica Barth also from Germany. And we can see that the Swedish team is already lined up to receive, and the United States kicking team is almost ready to kick the ball off in this first game between these 2 teams. At the last tournament, they were in different groups, so they did not get to play against each other. The last tournament in 2010 was, of course, hosted by the team Sweden. The US team is the defending champions. In the last tournament, no one was able to even score against them, and they are looking to dominate once again. The kickoff down the middle was fielded by Sweden's returner, number 14, and she was tackled around the 35-yard line. Number 14, she is Anna Persson, a wide receiver on the Swedish team. You can see in the rerun how it was number 8, Sharon Vasquez, who made the tackle. Sharon Vasquez is a veteran on the US team. She played in the previous tournament as well. She's also a mother of 4, in fact, and her oldest child is already 13 years old. She is a standout defensive back on the US defending world champion team. So it is Sweden's starting offense against the US starting defense, just like they were introduced before the game. The Swedish starting quarterback is number 12, Marianne Gimhag. Shotgun formation and the pass attempt, but there is a flag on the play. It seems like the defense jumped offsides before the snap, but we will see what the officials say. Indeed, it was offside by the defense. It is a 5-yard penalty. So it is 1st and 5 for the Swedish starting offense. They lined up with 3 receivers and a running back by the side of the quarterback. This was a pass attempt, by the way, to the right, but there was no receiver in sight. So there is, in their formation, what I was going to say is there's a sort of H-back as well. Not exactly a wing or a tight end, but set a little bit farther in and to the back. Could also be an offset fullback if you want to see it that way. Now they actually have 3 receivers once again, and the same formation as previously, but number 58 seemed to have jumped to a full start. It was a full start, 5-yard penalty, so we are back where we started with the ball placed at the 40-yard line. Second and 10, Sweden. Handoff to number 9, Mana Allison. Oh, I'm sorry, it was number 2, Sophia Beckman. Number 2, Sophia Beckman ran right up the middle after the handoff. Nice scramble for a first down. So it is first down, Sweden at the 50-yard line, or just past the 50-yard line, in fact. There was some miscommunication, it seems, from the sidelines, resulting in a full start for Sweden. The quarterback seemed to react to something coming from the sidelines, but it was not a timeout called. So once again, starting quarterback, Marianne Gimhag. The running backs are Sophia Beckman and Moa Arnfridson, although Arnfridson could line up at tight end or wide receiver as well. We have Alina Holm and Anna Persson at wide receivers. And in the meantime, we got number 9, Mana Ellison, tight end / wide receiver, running down the left sideline. Let's see the replay of shotgun snap, and then it was a quick toss to the motioning Allison. Ran to the left and was pushed out of bounds by number 43, Daniel Golay, on the U.S. team. Mana Allison, by the way, has lived in the United States for quite a long time and plays for the San Diego Surge. Now, the pass attempt was deflected by Daniel Golay. Gimhag scrambled to the left to try to make the pass, but Golay was right on top of that. It is 3rd and about 9 for the Swedish team, still at midfield. Same formation. Handoff to Sophia Beckman, but she is now hit just past the line of scrimmage. Two players are still down. Number 56 on the Swedish team, Julia Olsen, seems to be injured. And she's lying on top of a U.S. player. Trainers are checking her knee. and will help her off the field. In the meantime, the U.S. player number 68 was able to stand up. So it was really just the fact that she was under the injured player. Number 68 is Kenoris Blackman. It seems to be a knee for Julia Olsson. Hopefully this is something that the trainers can fix and she can return later to the game. So now Sweden will punt the ball away on 4th down. Number 4 is their punter, Frida Engström. The punt bounces all the way down to the 10-yard line, where it's stopped by the Swedish team. So it is 1st down, United States at the 10-yard line. The starting offense of the defending world champions is now taking the field. At quarterback, you can see another veteran from the previous tournament, number 15, Sami Gursafi, plays for the Chicago Force and is also a musician. So multi-talented. Handoff to the running back. Very quick running back, number 25. That is Cassie Brick, I believe. Yes, it is Cassie Brick. And she ran to the right and then up the middle behind a very nice block. And then she was gang tackled by 3 different Swedish defenders at the right hash mark. Is a quick screen pass out to number 9. And she runs for what is very close to a 1st down. It is a 1st down. Number 9 is Jeanette Gray, by the way. Motion across. Gursafi keeps the ball and scrambles ahead for about 2 yards on the play. For receivers, shotgun formation. Gursafi seemed to keep the ball, but then pitched it back to Mia Brickhouse. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Number 28, not 18, so that is Brandy Hatcher. There's some last-minute changes in the lineup. Quick pitch out to the slot receiver, I believe, and it's a beautiful run up the left hash mark area, and it is a 1st down on the other side of the field, 35-yard line-ish. Tackle, I did not see which Swedish player made the tackle, but it was a very nicely done move on behalf of the Swedish player. Gursafi throws to Cassie Brick, who avoids a tackle and runs into the end zone. It is a touchdown for the U.S. team. This is the 1st touchdown in this game and in this tournament for the United States team. It's a short pass down the middle. Very nice blocks all the way. A missed tackle by number 24. A last-minute scramble and into the end zone. So it is 6-0 United States. Let's see about the extra point. It is a 2-point conversion attempt by Mia Brickhouse. And it is successful, so it is 2 more points on the board for US. It is United States 8, Sweden nothing. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter of the United States-Sweden football game at the 2013 Women's World Championships, I'm sorry. And if you are watching this live stream on the website, that means you have found the website for the World Championships. But in case you want to tell others about it, it's www.WWC2013.com. And you can find the live stream at WWC TV. There's a little menu point on the website where you can find that. You can also find statistics and other information, teams interviews and rosters, any information you would like to find. But if it's not enough, you can also go to the IFAF Facebook page, where you can also comment on the live feed or in the games themselves. So this was a kickoff by the United States and the return attempt by Sweden. The return took Sweden all the way to about the 27-yard line. So that is first down Sweden with 7 minutes and 56 seconds to go from the first quarter. Manna Allison is motioning across. There's a quick handoff to the running back, but she is buried for a loss by the U.S. defense. The running back is still number 2, Sophia Beckman. It is a pass attempt, a very high throw by the quarterback towards number 4, Elina Holm. It was incomplete, but there is a flag on the play. So there is no penalty for interference because it was uncatchable. I think that's what she was saying. Excuse me if I am wrong about the referee signals. Oh, it is a 5-yard penalty on Sweden. So it is second and about 20. Quarterback keeps the ball and scrambles to her left, down the sideline, run out of bounds by Daniel Gole. Gole chases the quarterback down, closes the gap, and if there had been no sideline, she would have made the tackle right there. As you can see, about 7 minutes left from the first quarter, and it is still 8-0. There's a quick substitution, and the U.S. team managed to finish it before the snap. It's a pass attempt, but I'm not exactly sure what the quarterback was looking for, because there was no player, not even a defender, in that area. So it seemed to be a case of miscommunication or a botched route, or the quarterback just trying to throw the ball away, in which case it was a little bit dangerous because there could have been a defender somewhere there. So Sweden looks to be punting the ball again, number for Elina Holm. But there is a motion to the other side, so they are trying to make sure that the U.S. defense cannot overload one side. The punt is to the left side. This is why they were motioning the players across to make sure they can cover the punt. Very nicely done by the punt team. No one touched the ball. It is at the 30-yard line, so the United States national team can take over at their own 30 with 6.5 minutes to go. Grisafi is still at quarterback. And it's a handoff to Cassie Brick, it seems, and she is tackled at the 37-yard marker around by number 7 and 21 on the Swedish team. 1 second, Anna Jernberg, a linebacker, and Elina Stjelen, also, or a defensive back, not also. It's second and about 1.5 yards. Shotgun snap and pass, quick screen pass out to the left-hand side. Did I see 83, Holly Peterson there? I think it was, yes, it was Holly Peterson who caught the ball and advanced it past midfield. So now it is first down for the U.S. at about 47, 48. Now we have 3 receivers on the right-hand side, and the pass would have gone to number 23, Nicole Villarino, in the flat, but it went past her hands. So it's an incomplete pass, and it is second down. A little bit of scrambling around in the formation. Play clock is still at 12, so there's time. A tricky motion play, 2 people in motion. There are flags flying, and a run down the left by number 3, Odessa Jenkins. But this might come back. It seems there were 2 penalties on the play, and one was declined, so it is a 5-yard penalty, I believe, for illegal motion, but I did not exactly hear the referee which penalty was accepted. So 5 yards, it's 2nd and 15 for the U.S. Empty backfield, it seemed, and it's a pass down the middle to number 10, who runs it in for a touchdown, Adrian Smith. The receiver who also played in the 2010 tournament, so a world champion, runs it in for a score. 5 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Nicely executed play. The receiver was wide open and in stride. Another 2-point conversion. Once again, Mia Brickhouse runs it in for 2. It is US 14, Sweden 0. 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter. One of the Swedish players was slow to get up, but she is up and running. Number 7 on the Jernberg. So the United States is now lining up to kick the ball off from the 30-yard line as customary in this game. At this tournament, we are using IFAF rules, which are basically the 2011 NCAA rules. So if you have any questions about rules, that's the rule book you should probably look up. Angela Larson is ready to kick the ball off. High kick slightly to the left, and it is fielded by Mana Allison. Very versatile player, but she has nowhere to run. She tries to scramble to the left and then to the right, and she is tackled at around just before the 30-yard line by number 45, Jennifer Plummer. Handoff to the running back, Sophia Beckman. Run attempt down the middle. But by the time she was able to follow her lead block, there were two players there at number 85 and number 83 on the U.S. team. So that's Holly Peterson and Kimberly Marks, who I believe made the tackle. Three receivers, two backs, motion, fake handoff, and a quick toss forward to number 8, Moa Arnfridsson. So this means about a 5-yard gain for Sweden. Tackled by the defensive back, I believe. Pass to number 4, Elina Holm. Tackled by number 6 and number 45, so that's Rachel Gore and Jennifer Plummer. Very vigilant. It is 4th down, but only inches to go. Less than a yard. It is in their own territory, though, so it seems that Sweden's going to punt the ball unless they are planning a trick play. They do once again have a motioning player, Mana Allison, and it is punted away, but this time right down the middle. It is fielded and run up the right sideline. Tackle made by number 55, Antonia Erhardsson, and it was Rachel Gore, number 6 on the U.S. team, who fielded and returned the punt for a good 20 yards. Very nice scramble, spin move. Well then, it is 1st down at the 47. Grisafi airs it out to the left. It was a very nice catch by number 41, Kimberly Klesse. Wide receiver, she had to step back a little bit for the ball, but she made the catch, and it is now 1st down all the way down at the about 16-yard line for the U.S. team. Motion across and the quick toss forward to number 28, Brandy Hatcher. This resulted in a 4-yard gain. motion, and then a handoff to number 84, who was number 84 was Alexa Snyder. She was tackled by number 7, I believe. Yes, number 7 on the Swedish team is Anna Jernberg. She was the one who made the tackle, but she unfortunately is still down on the field. So it is an injury timeout once again. In the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about just how dominant the U.S. team was at the previous World Championships in 2010. Their rushing yard total was over 1,000 yards, about 356 yards per game rushing, 18 touchdowns rushing total, 526 passing yards total, which means about 175 per game, 201 points scored total, which is 67 points per game. Now we're back on the field after the injury timeout. A quick run by number 3 is in the end zone. Odessa Jenkins made the touchdown. There's 6 more points for the U.S. on the board with 1 minute and 32 seconds left in the first quarter. Extra point attempt kept by Mia Brickhouse. Another 2 points for the veteran running back of the Boston Militia. As you could see, the quarterback Sami Grisafi actually went up to block for the running back to make the score 24-0 U.S. towards the end of the first quarter. It means a lot when you have a quarterback who can actually block, or even, in case of unintended events like an interception, can even make a tackle, because it adds an extra player on your team. If your quarterback can go up and block for the running back, that's something that the defense needs to plan for, and sometimes can't actually account for in terms of personnel. Now another kickoff return by Nana Allison. Beautiful hit by the defender, number 45, Jennifer Plummer. That was quite a hit to take for the small returner. And then, of course, there were 2 other players on the play as well, so must have been quite the hit to take. The Swedish team, by the way, is not only very, very young, but also quite a small roster. They only have 32 players. They lost a few players to injury before the tournament. But as small and young as they are a very tough team, as they proved in the previous tournament, where they, in the 5th place game, they actually beat Austria by 2 points, even though by that point they had only played football for about 2 years. And there are several people on this team that who played in that tournament as well. I will try to tell you more about them later. So now let's see the Swedish offense on second down. And this play was going nowhere. A sack by number 81, Jennifer Deering, the defensive starter. She did not play in the previous tournament, but she is a starter now. She plays for the Central Cal War Angels. It is 3rd and long for the Swedish team. It's more than 20 yards, actually, that they would have to make for the first down. It is a very high pass. There was no receiver in the vicinity of this pass, and Sowers almost made the interception, but the ball landed out of bounds. So it was incomplete. Now it is 4th down for Sweden. So we are going to see another punt by their punter, Elina Holm, who's also a right receiver on the team. Since it's such a small roster, many people play at several positions. Signature motion by Amanda Allison to the left. Punt down the middle, fielded by number 25. That is Cassie Brick, I think. Yes, it is Cassie Brick, and she returns it all the way down to what I believe is around 25. Yes, just before the 25-yard line. Very nice return by Brick, one of the fastest players in this tournament, I was told, and she demonstrated that with this return. It is the end of the first quarter, if you're wondering what's happening right now. So the teams will switch sides and line up on what is now the left-hand side for you. So at the start of the second quarter, it is 24 United States, 0 Sweden. Also in this group, there are 2 groups in this tournament with 3 teams each. Also in this group is Team Germany, so we will not see them today. They will start play on the second game day, which is Tuesday. So in 2 days, you will get to see Germany. They will take the field against Sweden, this team that is now trying to defend their end zone against the U.S. It is an incomplete pass. In the meantime, I'd like to ask for some clarification. I believe the screen says 22-0. The board in the stadium says 24-0. So please, someone fix this so I can make sure I have the right score. With all the numbers and statistics, I am sorry, I do not remember where we were last time in terms of the score. So let's just watch the game and this will... Okay, thank you for fixing that. So it is 24-0. So the scoreboard in the stadium was the correct score. In the meantime, it is 3rd and about 8 yards to go for the United States. You see Odessa Jenkins line up at running back, receives the handoff, and scrambles that to the right. Nice blocking by the offensive line and the wide receivers. As you can see, there are 2 pulling members of the offensive line to lead block for her. Very nicely executed play. It is 4th down, even though the team gained about 5 or 6 yards on the previous play. There is a timeout now, so we're going to wait a little bit to see what the U.S. team will do on this 4th down, since they are already in the red zone. Obviously, punting the ball away is not an option, so we will either see a play where they go for it, or they might try a field goal. But it seems that they will actually go for it. So back to that previous world champion team. There are 14 returning players from that undefeated World Championship team. And if we have any time during the game, and I'm sure we will, then I will tell you all the names of the returning players. I have already mentioned Sami Grisafi, the quarterback. And there's another quarterback on the team, Karen Mulligan, who was also at the tournament in 2010. Later on, we will get to all the other players. You could see Jamie Menzik on the O-line pulling to the right, and a scramble up by the running back and the quarterback. Grisafi tossed the ball and went up to block beautifully once again. With this many blockers on the play, it is just almost impossible not to get some yardage. As a running back, which is what I play, the best thing to have is great blockers, obviously. So that must have felt amazing. Unfortunately, there's another injury right now, so we will see what happened. There's a Swedish and an American player down. I did not see the numbers, so I can't tell you which players these are. Well, the Swedish player is already up and limping. Number 1, Emma Bendorf, a defensive back. So she has to be taken off the field, substituted by Frida Ekterleki. And the U.S. player is Mia Brickhouse. I believe she's, yes, that's Mia Brickhouse, running back of the Boston Militia. She is limping off the field. The trainers will check out her knee, it seems. So the U.S. is back with a first down. It is Karen Mulligan as quarterback. So there's been a substitution. I'm sorry if I did not notice that earlier. It is Karen Mulligan throwing the ball to the right, intended for number 9, Jeanette Gray. And it was, I think, batted away. Let's see what happened there. There was a play action fake. She got her hand on it, but the defender was right there and didn't allow her to secure the catch, so it was incomplete. And it is second down, second and goal from just inside the 10-yard line. Shotgun snap to Mulligan, and the toss to number 23, Hatcher, but the ball dropped to the ground. She got it back, but it was ruled incomplete. It was not ruled a fumble and a recovery. She did not have possession of the ball, but it would have been at right about the same place. So at this point, it did not make much of a difference what the ruling was. Mulligan to the right to number 9, Jeanette Gray again, and she runs it in after the catch for another United States touchdown. 6 more points on the board. There was no one around. There was no one around the receiver at that point. So very good awareness by Mulligan throwing the football where it had to be thrown on the play. Quick pitch out to 84, Alexis Snyder, who runs it in for the 2 extra points. It is now 30 points on offense for the U.S. team. There are 10 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the first half of this game. So while the teams are getting ready for the kickoff and the kickoff return, let's see who else was on the 2010 World Championship team of the United States. At running back, Mia Brickhouse, who I have also already mentioned, and who scored some extra points today before getting injured and substituted by Alexis Snyder on these extra point attempts. At wide receiver, also mentioned Adrian Smith, who has scored a touchdown already. In the meantime, the kickoff is slightly to the right, or the returning team's left, and the returner tries to find some gaps, but doesn't go more than about 10 yards. So the ball is placed at the 30-yard line. Veronica Niemann is, I think, one of the returners. So I think it was her, but I unfortunately did not see the first number on the jersey, and the Swedish team does not have names on their jersey, so it is kind of hard to find which player is which. So I apologize if I made a mistake on the names. Run up the middle. Stopped just beyond the line of scrimmage. It's about a yard on the play. Number 45, Jennifer Plummer, was right there in the middle of it again. There's a blitz from the left. Pressure on the quarterback. She had to throw the ball. And it was not high enough for number 14, Anna Persson, wide receiver, to catch. It's an incomplete pass. And number 16 on the U.S. team, Catherine Sowers, one of the Sowers twins, identical twins, who both play for the Kansas City team, was also right behind the intended receiver, so she would have been there if the ball had not hit the ground. It is another sack by the player who blitzed on the previous play, number 13, Jen Welter. She's the shortest player on the team. She's only 5'3", I believe. And she is another veteran, world champion from the 2010 team. She is an experienced and very tough linebacker who now made the tackle on this play. It is 4th down, 4th and 20 for the Swedish team. They are going to punt the ball away. It is a timeout called. There are 8 minutes and 47 seconds left of this half. So besides Jen Welter, there is another linebacker from the 2010 team who's here this year as well. That is Leah Hinkle. She is number 30, if you are looking for her. And on the D-line, there are actually several players who came back. Kimberly Marks, Danielle Gole, Nengi Martin, and Donna Wilkinson. Defensive backs, I've already mentioned Sharon Vasquez, and there is also Alberta Fitchard-Brightson from the Dallas Diamonds, who is a returning player. On the offensive line, I mentioned Jamie Menzik, but there is also Dawn Peterson. And that completes the 14 players, returning players from the world champion team. Everyone else has joined the team since. There were tryouts for the national team in January of this year in Austin, Texas, or near Austin, Texas, and 175 players went to try out for this national team. So the 45 players that are on the roster, and you can see here, are here because they were selected from a pool of thousands of players to begin with, and 175 players from that tryout in January. As you can see in the rear end, this was a very nice punch return on the right-hand side by the U.S. team. There seems to be some confusion about what is going on right now. All right, so the penalty was on Sweden. It was declined, and it is first down. U.S. at the 28-yard line. Number 5, Karen Mulligan, is still at quarterback. That was a beautiful hit by number 7, Anna Jernberg, on the Swedish team after the handoff to Odessa Jenkins. And Jenkins was still going after that hit. That's a remarkable feat of endurance. Keeping your feet moving, going on after that hit. Run up the middle, tackled by 3 Swedish players, 10, 70, and 55. So that's Hammarbeck, Garti, and Erhardsson. They made the tackle together. It's a little bit low snap, but Mulligan had no problem with it. Another pass to the right to Kimberly Classy, who once again had to step back a little bit for that catch. So I'm not exactly sure if maybe she has to step back because she's a little bit faster than usual, or if the ball is in fact overthrown. Either way, this was a nice catch and a first down for the U.S. And now we witnessed another blazing run by number 25, Cassie Brick, the speed demon of this team. And it is in the end zone. The snap was fumbled on the extra point attempt and recovered by the Swedish team, number 33, Frida Löv. So the extra point attempt is unsuccessful. It is 38-0 after the score and the failed attempt. So we have almost 7.5 minutes, so basically about 7 minutes left in this half. And the United States is getting ready to kick the ball off to the Swedish returners. The returners, once again, are Manna Allison, number 9, and number 14, Anna Persson. Kickoff by Larson to the left, touched by Manna Allison before it bounces back, and just before the pylon it bounces out of bounds. As you can see, 7 minutes and 14 seconds left. The score is 38-0. The officials are discussing where to place the ball and decide to place it on the 40-yard line. because of how it went out of bounds. The defense seemed to jump off sides on this play, and the center was vigilant enough to snap the ball at that moment. Five-yard penalty for offsides on the defense. It is 1st and 5 at the 45-yard marker for Sweden. Marianne Gimhag still at quarterback, keeps the ball, runs up the middle, but runs into 3 or 4 defenders, including number 82, Rachel May, who made the tackle. She was a little bit faster than her blocker, so there was no one leading the way after she got through the line of scrimmage. And Rachel May was right there. Allison motioning and getting a quick toss, but there's nowhere to go. 3 defenders emerge to make the tackle. Number 13, 47, and 44. So that was Jen Welter, Victoria Eddy, and Kengi Martin. I'm sorry if I butcher some of the names, by the way, especially the Swedish ones. I am not familiar with all of them. So please send me messages after the game if there's something about the pronunciation you can help me with. Thank you. You can send messages through the IFAF Facebook page, and I'm sure they will get to me. There is a 5-yard penalty on the play. So 3rd down will be repeated from 5 yards back for Sweden. 6 minutes left in the half. Quarterback rolls out to the right, and she is chased down by Odessa Jenkins. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it was Jenkins. I suddenly was confused because Jenkins also lines up at running back on the offense. But this time, she was right there making the tackle. Punt to the left. And number 34 on the Swedish team is right there, Stella Carrick, to make sure that Rachel Gore cannot return it. So Gore fell on the ball to make sure that the U.S. can keep it. It will be placed at the 30-yard line for a first down. With about 5 minutes to go until halftime. Sami Gursafi is back at quarterback on the U.S. team. Keeps the ball, shovel pass once again. Seems to be a play that the U.S. team uses a lot at this tournament so far. Number 28, Brandy Hatcher, ran the ball to the left. You can see some really nice blocks right there by number 72 and number 1. So that was Elizabeth Sowers, the other one of the identical pair of identical twins on the team. That was a pass attempt to Sowers. She couldn't quite pull it in. It is 3rd and about 8 yards. was a motion with a fake handoff and then a pass down the middle to number 9, Jeanette Gray, but it was about 5 yards too long for her. It is 4th down, and the United States will punt the ball for the first time. Punting will be Angela Larson, the kicker, who is also the punter. It is a long punt, but then it bounces towards the sideline, so it stays around the same area that it first hit the field. 35 or 36 yards is where it's going to be placed. There are about 4 minutes in this half. It is first down Sweden with 38-0 on the scoreboard. There's a quick consult by the officials. There is no penalty on the play. It was an errant flag. So Sweden's lined up for a first down. And the quarterback keeps the ball, runs it up the middle, and could have run for more had it not been for that tackle. Tackle by number 21, Callie Brownson, defensive back of the DC Divas. But it is a first down for the Swedish team near midfield. About 2 yards before midfield, quarterback rolls out to the left and tries a quick pass to number 5, but it is a little bit too far inside for the receiver, Frida Ångström, to catch. Manna Allison is back in the lineup, it seems. We'll see what Sweden tries next from the same formation with the H-back. An extra blocker. Manny Allison tried to return for the ball. Quarterback decided to keep it, but there was nowhere to go. Number 82, Rachel May, made the tackle on this one as well. Last minute consultations. A low snap. Quarterback once again does not see anybody to pass to, keeps it, runs into the would-be tackler, but cannot go through the tackle. It is number 44, Victoria Addy, who made the tackle of the quarterback, Marianne Gimhag. It is fourth down, and because of that previous sack by Rachel May, even though there was some yardage gain in that last play, it is still fourth and about 15, so Sweden will be forced to punt the ball away. It is a nice long punt down the middle. The U.S. blockers were not letting the Swedish players get to the ball, but they were too close for comfort, so number 25, Cassie Breck, decided not to try to return it. There are 2 minutes and 18 seconds left in the first half, and it is first down for the U.S. team at about the 30. Usa-Swe throws to the right, down the sideline. Receiver is diving for the ball, but it is incomplete. It was just a bit too long for her. I did not see the number, but I think that might have been Holly Peterson, 83. Motion both ways once again, and a nice run, shaking some would-be tacklers, and down the sideline. Beautiful block by Adrian Smith, and Odessa Jenkins is in the end zone. As you can see, Adrian Smith arrived from the other sideline to make that crucial block of the one Swedish player who could have actually chased down Jenkins. And that way, the road was clear into the end zone. Just look at all the blue jerseys right around the runner. That's what you want as the person carrying the ball. That's what you want to see. You just want to see jerseys of your own team all over the place, blocking for you. This is beautiful work by the entire offense. This is teamwork. The extra point run is in. It was good, as shown by both officials. So 8 more points for the U.S. team before halftime. There are less than 2 minutes left in the first half. Consider this the 2-minute warning. It is 46 points for the United States, 0 for Sweden. So far, the U.S. has continued their dominating work on the field from 2010. I know they were looking forward to playing Team Sweden this time because they were so impressed by this young team at the last tournament. And Sweden was looking forward to playing the United States team because everyone wants to play the U.S. team and see how they measure up against the best players. And the U.S. team is here on a mission to defend the world title that they got in 2010. A return attempt by number 14 on the Swedish team. She managed to shake one of the tackles by us, doing a little spin move there, but then the rest of the special team on the U.S. side was right on top of that play. There were some missing blocks there. So Anna Persson had to try to scramble on her own. And she did a pretty good job gaining some yardage on this play, despite that missed block that made her almost be tackled about 10 yards before she was actually tackled. So nice job by the returner. It's 1st and 10 at the 35. There's less than 2 minutes left. Handoff to 34. It goes nowhere. Stella Carrick. On running plays, if there is no room, it's practically impossible to make a play, even if you're very good at shaking defenders. Because if you barely receive the handoff and there are 3 people right there, then there's not much you can do. So something that the Swedish team has to work on in this game, at least, is these blocks. And the O-line to hold up the defense until at least the running back has some room to see where she's going. There was something about the play clock, but it was fixed. So it is running now. Quarterback is making some last-minute changes before the snap. It is handed off to the running back. She tries to run it down the middle. The defense is vigilant. It was a very nicely executed handoff that was a good... the quarterback sold the move that she was going to keep the ball and that it was a fake, but it was actually handed off. So it was nicely done. But the defenders did not allow more than a couple yards on this play. There is about 1 minute until halftime. It is a timeout, and the U.S. is up by 46 points. On the Swedish team, I talked a little bit about the selection process for the U.S. team, but on the Swedish team, they made it through a similar process, but with fewer players to begin with. There are altogether a little bit more than 100 players in Sweden playing women's tackle football. And they narrowed that down to about 60, and then at the tryouts, and then they narrowed that further down to the actual roster. This was an incomplete pass and then a hit that drew a flag. Possibly for a late hit. Although sometimes when things are happening so fast and the intended target drops the ball and the defender is already on the move, it was a penalty for unnecessary roughness, a late hit. That was by number 45, Plummer. So as I was saying, sometimes, as you could see, if the move has already begun, if you already start running or jumping, it is very hard to stop that momentum. So sometimes these late hits do happen because of that momentum. Not as an excuse for the player drawing the penalty, but sometimes it would not be possible to actually stop that hit before it happens. It is still a good thing that it is a penalty because these hits can be very risky and dangerous. Plummer jumped across the line, drawing another penalty. So Sweden managed to draw the defense off. So another 5-yard penalty. So after second and very long, Sweden is now at second and about 5 and past midfield. Stella Carrick on the Swedish team is lined up at running back now. with Frida Ångström as the fullback, offset to the left. There are less than 30 seconds in this half, which means there's time for probably only one play. Can they get the playoff in time? I'm not sure they are aware. Well, I guess Team Sweden decided that they're not going to try one more play before halftime. They let the clock wind down to 0. I thought they would surely get a play off in time, but maybe they did not want to risk potentially losing the ball. So it is halftime now. We have about 20 minutes of an intermission. It is US 46, Sweden 0. I will see you in 20 minutes for the second half. And welcome back to the live stream of the Women's World Championship in tackle football. It is about the beginning of the second half in the game of the United States versus Sweden. This is the second game on the first day of the World Tournament. It is about 9:30 p.m. here in Helsinki, and as you can see, it's still pretty light out. The stadium lights are on, just in case. But this far north, even if the sun goes down, the light does not completely disappear in the summer. It can kind of throw you off a little bit at night when you try to sleep, but it's actually pretty amazing that it's almost 10 o'clock and we're out in almost full daylight. So now, at the start of the second half, the third quarter, Sweden will kick off to the U.S. returning team. The score at halftime is 46-0 as kickoff is fairly short. It is fielded by number 85, Kimberly Marks, defensive lineman, and returned to midfield. And I would like to thank everybody from all around the world who have tuned into this live feed. And please keep watching. I will be here with you all week, and on the other game days, I will have some guests with me to talk to and maybe help me out a little bit with the statistics. But for now, I am your play-by-play and color commentary and statistician. My name, once again, is Anna. So please comment on the IFAF Facebook feed to send me a message about anything you would like changed in my commentary. In the meantime, we saw a nice run up the middle by number 84, Alexis Snyder, for about 25 or so yards on this play. It's a first down for the U.S. team at about the 28-yard line. It was a quick pass out to the left-hand side and a gain of close to 9 yards on the play. Nice block by number 55 there, and a nice tackle by the Swedish defender, 82, I believe. I do not have 82, so I must have read the number wrong. But it was a nice tackle nevertheless. It is second and about 2 for the U.S. team. Sami Gursafi kept the ball with a very tricky manner, hiding it behind her thighs, and she actually ran all the way down the field into the end zone. It is a rushing touchdown by the versatile quarterback, Sami Gursafi, number 15, a world champion on this team. So with about a minute and a half into the third quarter, the U.S. team scored another touchdown. It is now 52-0. Very nice play by Gursafi, and nice blocks by the O-line. Jamie Mensick pulling ahead of number 33. It was Donna Wilkinson. Yes, it was Donna Wilkinson on this play. She ran it in for the 2-point conversion. Donna Wilkinson is also a veteran player on this team and on the DC Divas of Washington, D.C. So it will be a kickoff by the U.S. team. And returners on the Swedish team are once again Mana Ellison, number 9. You can see her at the top of the screen on the right when the camera pans that way. And number 4, Frida Ångström. The kickoff is to the right, so it is Ångström's way. She picks it up and tries to scramble to the right and the left, but only gains a few yards in the play because the U.S. kickoff team is right there on the play. Number 22, Reyes, and number 6, Gore, Rachel Gore, who made the tackle. Excuse me for the silence. I just had to check something real quick. I have received some comments on my own Facebook, but please direct most of your comments on the IFAF Facebook feed because that way they will get to the right person. And also, I am probably unable to check my messages anytime soon. So it is 1st and 5 after a penalty. And it is a pass attempt, but the quarterback was hit while trying to pass, so it actually fell behind the receiver. Quarterback Marianne Gimhag still tried to make the pass, and it was a nice throw, but it was clearly behind where it should have been. The receiver, Anna Persson, hadn't even turned back yet, so that means she was not expecting it to be behind her, obviously. So this was an incomplete pass, and it is a 2nd down, 2nd and 5 for Sweden. There seemed to have been either a deliberately motioning player and then no one else moved, so it was not a full start, or it would have been a full start, but the rest of the team was aware that they should not move, and so they executed the play, and it was and made a motion. So that was a nice run by the quarterback up the middle. I'm sorry, yes, that was the quarterback up the middle, and she was tackled by Martin. So it is 1st down, Sweden at the 40. Lined up at their usual formation with the running back behind the quarterback, slightly offset. But there is a penalty flag and the play was whistled dead, so this might have been a full start. And yes, indeed, it was a full start on Sweden. After the 5 yards, it is 1st and 15. There was slight movement on the right side of the line, which drew the defender, Kimberly Marks, across the line, but it was the O-line that moved first. Once again, there was slight movement, but then the O-line set, and it was passed to number 8, Moa Ann Fritzson, in the middle for just about a yard or less. Net gain. Tackle was made by, I believe, 82 Rachel May, and I think I saw Andriana Campolo there as well. It was an interesting little toss to the running back, Sophia Beckman, who then ran into some traffic in the middle. So a shotgun snap, and instead of a handoff, it was just a little pitch. But there were 3 or 4 defenders right there. And what slowed her down is one of the defenders. I just barely missed the number, so I can't tell you who it was, but the defender just got one hand on her, and that slowed her down enough that the other defenders got to the spot. This was a very nice short pass down the middle to number 4, Elina Holm. Very well done. It was a first down gained by the Swedish team. So you can see shotgun snap again. Holm is moving across the middle, right behind the line of scrimmage, or in front of the line of scrimmage from their perspective. And after the catch, she managed to gain about 6 or 7 more yards for the first down. So very well done by the receiver. Gimhack hands off to the running back, Beckman, who tries to run up the middle again and is tackled again by a pile of defenders. First among them is Jen Welter, linebacker. So second down and slightly behind the original line of scrimmage for these downs. So it is 2nd and 11. Quarterback keeps the ball, makes sure she avoids a tackle and tries to run some more yards, but is run out of bounds by Welter. At the left-hand side. She manages to avoid 1 tackler, but then runs into 3 more just by the sideline. Kelly Brownson was also there on this play. She is the safety on the team. Low snap and a quick pass out to intended for Manna Allison, but it goes through her hands for an incompletion. It is 4th down for Sweden. The 2 receivers are moving across the way. This was a very smart play because they were both open, but the pass was just a little bit off for the receiver moving towards the outside to turn back and try to catch it. So it would have been a very difficult catch. Very low snap for the punt, and the punter kicks it into the defenders, runs for it, misses it, and then there's a pile of people, and it looks like it's U.S. ball. There is a player down. It seems like number 26, Catherine Converse, was the one who got on top of the ball. And Alina Holm is the one who was down. So let's see, Holm tried to get the ball up. And then there's a scramble with Converse on the bottom, recovering the ball for the U.S. Holm is escorted off the field. She is slightly limping, but seems to be okay. So the U.S. offense is back on the field with a first down at the 25-yard line. There are almost 7 minutes left in the 3rd quarter with 54-0 on the board. Sami Grusafi at quarterback, passed to Elizabeth Sowers, I see. Yes, number 1. Liz Sowers from Kansas City, the Kansas City Titans football team. And she gained slightly less than 4 yards on the play from this vantage point. Four receivers, 1 running back. And the receivers crossed, and number 9, Jeanette Gray. It's not her first touchdown today, that I can tell you. Whether she scored 1 or 2 already, I'm sure you could tell me. So for next time, I'm sure I will be able to look up how many touchdowns she has, but this is another one of them. So as you can see, once again, there are beautiful blocks by the rest of the team to make sure she has a clear way to the end zone. And as it's usually the case after great blocking, the first person she thanks is Jamie Menzik from the O-line for the blocks. That's one of the beauties of football, that it is such a team game. It is a true team game in that it needs every single person on the team to make things happen. This is how dependent you are on your teammates. And the U.S. team has showed us today what good, efficient teamwork is and what it means to do everything to make sure that your teammate can do what they are supposed to do. The 2-point conversion attempt is successful. Cassie Brick, number 25, ran it in for the 2. Okay, I'm sorry, I was wrong. The first time Cassie Brick actually ran it in for the touchdown, and now it was the 2-point conversion. So the previous catch by Jeanette Gray was actually out of bounds before the end zone. So sorry about that, and I will try to focus more on what's going on in the field. Sometimes it is hard to see the lines from here, so I apologize. The point is that now it is 60-0. And the U.S. is once again getting ready to kick the ball off to Sweden. There are 6 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter. We had a very nice day today, full of great weather and football. And we hope you return on the following football days to see games with us. After a kickoff to the left, it was Manna Allison who returned the ball for 25 or so yards. To the right, there were some good blocks on this play. It seems like the Swedish team is beginning to be able to block for their returners. They don't have the ferocity or the actual momentum yet to sustain them, but this is a step in the right direction. And this way they managed to get a much better field position with the ball at the 40-yard line for their first down. Manna Allison motioned across again. The handoff was to number 34, Stella Carrick. She gained, I would say, about 7 yards in this play. She followed her blockers. Those were very nice blocks by the O-line and the fullback. And the tackle was made by number 68, Kanoris Blackman, and one more defender that I could not identify. So Sweden lines up again with their 3-receiver, 2-back formation, but quarterback keeps the ball and scrambles up the middle until she is topped by Sowers, and this is Catherine Sowers of the Sowers twins from the Kansas City Titans. Very nice play by the quarterback, Gimhag, and also by Sowers to stop the play. It is first down by Sweden across midfield at the 43. Gimhag wanted to pass, but then couldn't find the target, so she decided to keep it, and then she kind of sat down because she was pushed and had nowhere to go. Kenoris Blackman was right there in her face. Unfortunately, there was another player down. It's number 51, Camilla Anderson, but she is quickly helped off the field. And besides Blackman, Jennifer Deering was also in on that tackle. It is second and about 15 because of this loss in the previous play. Quarterback draw, but there is a fumble. And the Americans think they have it. Excuse me. Sweden thinks they have it. Referee points Sweden's way first, but then everybody makes sure they are pointing to the other direction. So it was just a slip up. Let's see what happened here. A beautiful forced fumble by number 43. That is Danielle Golay, a world champion on this team. As you could see, that's something that coaches will spend a lot of time teaching you, how to force fumbles. And now it's US ball again, and once again, there's a long run while I'm talking about other things. It was number 3, Odessa Jenkins, with the ball, running straight up the middle. So there's a quick handoff, running back across the middle, beautiful blocks. Once again, huge lane for her to run in. Eventually, after 2 semi-missed tackles, but ones that slowed her down, the actual tackle was made by Elina Kjellin, a defensive back on the Swedish team. And another play by the US is stopped by number 32 on the Swedish team. Number 32 is Nina Kiviharju. This was from a shotgun snap. Karen Mulligan, the quarterback, threw to the left, but Kiviharju was right there to make sure that the receiver can't move forward from that position. Another pass attempt to the left, and nice scramble by the running back by number 23, Nicole, or she's a receiver actually, but Nicole Villarino. Went outside, received the ball, and then tried to take a step inside and then run down the sideline to make sure that she follows her blocks. It was a very nice run, stopped just before the 5-yard line. Another pass, another run, and it was not in, it seems. Or maybe it was. Let's see. Nice catch by number 41. No, I believe she was down before she reached in. Handoff to Jenkins. She runs into a pile of Swedish defenders who managed to force her back, so there's no gain on the play. It is third down. With 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. Karen Mulligan at quarterback on this drive. There's a motion to the right. Shovel pass forward. And the running back, number 28, Brandy Hatcher, is tackled already inside the end zone. So it is, if I am right, it is another U.S. touchdown. There she is. There she crossed the line, the goal line. So that is definitely in. That is a kicked extra point attempt. So this time the U.S. is not going for the 2-point conversion. Larson kicks it through the uprights. No, it was actually wide. From this vantage point, I already saw it in between the uprights, but no, it was actually wide to the left as the officials signaled to us. See it again. Oh yeah, it was just wide to the left. There are also a lot of flagpoles there, so they might have thrown me off. So that means 6 points on this drive. It is 68 United States, 0 Sweden, with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter of the first game in this group. The next game will take place on Tuesday between Sweden and Germany, the team that we have not seen yet from this group. And in the other group, earlier today, Finland beat Spain, I believe 48-0. And the third team in the group is Canada. So on Tuesday, those of you watching from Canada will be able to see your team as well. And then Thursday, we will see the third game in each group, which means those teams that had not played each other will play each other on that day, and based on their standings in the group. On Saturday, July the 6th, we will have the placement games and the final game of this tournament. So on Saturday, July the 6th, early in the morning for some of you, and I believe right before noon here, Helsinki time, 11 o'clock, we will start, excuse me, we will start with the fifth place game, after which you will be able to watch the third place, the bronze medal game, and finally in the evening, Helsinki time, you will be able to catch the final game for the gold medal. So that is next Saturday, July 6th. There was, in fact, a penalty, so there was a retry on the extra point. And that means that the U.S. team got another chance to try to get the ball inside the end zone on this extra point try, and this time they elected not to kick, but to run it in. Successfully so. So it's 2 more points. It is 70-0. And ready for another kickoff is Miss Larson. Angela Larson from the Central Cal War Angels, kicker for the U.S. team. Sweden's Allison waiting for the return, but it goes the other way to, if it's still number 14, then it is on the person who returned the ball to about the 38. Yes, it was Persson, number 14. You can see her standing up after the play. Nice work by both special teams, but once again, the Swedish team was only able to block in the second level. So there was not much room for Persson to run. Some sort of mishandled handoff, which resulted in a tackle for a very large loss. I think Jen Welter and Jennifer Plummer were both in on this play. Well, it was Plummer who made the tackle, and Rachel May. And Jen Welter was there to make sure that the tackle is actually finalized. As you can see, there is a minute and a half left in the third quarter. Sweden with a second down. Quarterback keeps it after a fake handoff that actually drew some of the defenders that way. It was a very nice pass attempt right down the right sideline towards Persson. Just missed the catch and was not very happy about it. It was very nicely executed on the fake. Quarterback rolled out to the right. Very nice long throw. And it was right there, but it was already falling out of bounds. So Persson couldn't quite make the catch without falling out of bounds herself. So it's third down. Allison motioning across again. Handoff, fumbled, and recovered by the U.S. team by number 26, Catherine Converse, on the defensive line. The ball fell right behind the running back. It's very hard to try to locate the ball in this particular situation, and by the time she turned back, because once again the defensive line managed to push through, the offensive line, they were right there. Converse was right there to recover the fumble. So it is now Sweden on defense. Sami Gursafi back at quarterback. And throwing to number 80, who runs just out to the left-hand side. The left sideline, and runs down the left sideline into the end zone. This was Ashley Berggren, wide receiver from the Chicago Force. So Gursafi was throwing to her teammate. And clearly they have established a strong connection. So she was able to make that catch, spin around, run into the end zone. It's great to see how as soon as the player is in the end zone, you can see all the other players get there as well. So they don't stop, they don't walk around or look around. They block and they go and they make sure that the ball carrier makes it into the end zone. This is teamwork, and this is something that other teams noticed in the previous tournament as well, that the United States team is doing so well, that they carry each other. They make sure that they are each doing their job, but they encourage each other to do so as well. So it's wonderful teamwork. And now we saw a successful extra point kick attempt. Very nice work by the holder and kicker. So it is another point on the board. It is 77-0, United States. There is less than a minute left in the third quarter, so in just a few seconds, we will switch sides again for the last quarter in today's game. The quarterback that you have just seen in this previous drive and in the starting drive and many of the other drives is Sammy Grisafi, as I said, from the Chicago Force. And I just wanted to mention that she was in the 2010 tournament. She was the leader in yards passing total with 309. She was the leader in yards passing per game, per a single game, with 103. Touchdown passes per game. That was 3 touchdowns in one of the games. And touchdown passes in the tournament with 6. So she holds the records for those categories and is probably looking to repeat that performance this year. She is well on her way to repeating that performance so far in this game. In the meantime, there is a yellow flag. On this first down play. $15-yard penalty for a face mask. As you saw the referee, Anni Tahtinen from Finland, say just a second ago. So Sweden gained the first down at the midfield line because of this penalty. Quick snap and a quick pitch to the running back motioning, but once again, this does not result in anything positive for Sweden. The ball hit the ground again. There's a huge commotion. I think the American defenders got on the ball first. It is U.S. ball. Let's see what happened right there. Running back runs into traffic, loses the ball, and it seems to be, I can't see the number of who was there first, but it was definitely one of the American players. Maybe Welter. I believe I saw Welter in there. So it's another fumble recovery and first down for the U.S. today, just before the end of the third quarter at the 50-yard line, or just past it. It was a direct snap to number 2, handed off to number 10, Adrian Smith, but she is stopped for no gain after that catch. Tackled by number 21, Alina Schellen, and then about 2 other defenders fell on top of that just to make sure. So Smith runs to the outside. She's slowed down by one of the defenders and another missed tackle, but then Schellen is right there to make sure she doesn't keep going. Oh, I'm sorry, it was number 1, not number 21. So it was Emma Bendorf, the defensive back, not Schellen, the defensive lineman. She was in there on the play. Number 3, Jenkins, Odessa Jenkins, is stopped by another team effort on the Swedish team. In fact, at the last tournament, it was the Swedish defense that some of the other teams said very positive remarks about, that they were very tough. And in these 2 plays, we saw a little bit of that toughness that they can exhibit. A lot of these players on the Swedish team actually had to play on men's teams, especially before there was a Swedish league. The Swedish Women's Football League has only been around since last year. This year was only the 2nd year that they had a women's league. Last year it started with 4 teams, and then for next year there are 2 more teams joining. So Sweden is the case of the country that actually had a national team before it had a women's league. The reason being is that there were a lot of women playing all across the country or wanting to play, but they did not have a team nearby that was a women's team to play on. Now, we've just started the 4th quarter, so before I return to the story about the Swedish national team, Let me check the score a little bit real quick for you. You can see you can see that it's 77-0, and we're just about 30 seconds into the fourth quarter. The stadium lights just went out, but fortunately it's almost full daylight, so we can still see. Now the referee stopped the play to make sure that we can play in ideal conditions. There's some discussion, but it seems that the referee is allowing the play to continue. So there is enough light, in fact, for the game to be played, and I can testify to that. Ball's punted away by Larson, hitting the ground around the 10-yard line and rolling out of bounds. So Sweden gets the ball at the 10-yard line. So back to Sweden's national team. They decided to build a national team because there were a lot of women interested in playing or already playing around the country. It's just that they were so scattered around that there was no one place other than Stockholm and some of the bigger cities that they could have formed teams right away. So what they did is they made training camps for those interested and started a national team program, and then they fielded a national team after just 2 years of preparation at the 2010 World Championship. And they managed to gain 5th place at that tournament by beating Austria in the 5th place game by 2 points. So that was a great start for their national team program, as well as their women's football program altogether, because, as I said, just a year ago, they were able to start a women's league. Now, they have, as I said earlier, a little bit more than 100 players, but they're growing very fast, and they are able to add 2 more teams to the league next year. So it's a wonderful development for women's football in Europe and in Sweden in this particular case. On second down, there was an incomplete pass to the left-hand side after a fake handoff. The intended target was number 8, Moa Unfridsson, who actually caught the ball, but then somehow didn't manage to secure it before turning to run down the field. So it ended up being incomplete. She did not secure the ball, so obviously it was not a fumble. It was an incomplete pass. Allison is once again motioning and actually would have received the ball were it not for number 17, Adriana Kampala, who was right there delivering a vicious hit right as Allison was about to catch the ball. So unfortunately, she stays down. It was her shoulder that was hit. It was a clean hit, so there was nothing unlawful or unnecessarily rough about this hit. This was a good, clean, hard hit by a football player on a football player, and as you can see, Allison is fine. She just needs a little bit of recovery from this hit. I mean, these hits, you know, hurt. But if the technique is right, if it's not a late hit, if you know, you're on the field, you are expecting these hits. That's the beauty of the sport, that there's so much tough contact, and yet you can keep going. It is that's why we play football. So the punt team fielded the ball at around the 43-yard line. So back to hits. It is obviously not for everybody to sport, but those of us who have played any contact sport know that when you play a contact sport, you are going to get some contact. And some of us actually enjoy the fact that it is a contact sport. The slogan for this tournament is tough game, tougher women, and that's exactly what we're seeing on the field. It is a tough game, but these women are tougher. It is first down for Sweden. Shotgun snap, quarterback keep, up the middle for about 3 yards gained on the play. Tackle made by Kampalo. Very nice job staying right where she should have been, staying there to close the gap. This was a clear false start by the right tackle, Camilla Anderson. It will be a 5-yard penalty, so what they gained on the previous play, they lost and 2 yards more, so back to second and about 12. We have 9 minutes and 19 seconds left in this game at the IFAF Stadium in Helsinki, Finland. The stadium lights are back, but I must admit I did not even notice when they came back, so this is how bright it is outside at 10:20 p.m. in Helsinki. Incomplete pass to the right. So it is third down for Sweden in the fourth quarter. Going to be a pass play, but it is intercepted by number 30, Leah Hinkle on the U.S. team. Pass was thrown right in between the two receivers. See, number 14, it was too high for 14. And in fact, the other receiver was actually farther behind, so it fell right into the hands of Leah Hinkle, who even looked a little bit surprised that it was right there. She didn't really have to move anywhere to get the ball. So it's a turnover for the U.S. and a first down inside the 30. It's a handoff to number 84, Alexis Snyder, who runs it up the middle and gains about 8 yards on the play. Very nice power run by the running back of the Atlanta Steam. Motion across and the handoff, and Cassie Brick has a huge lane to run through. I mean, this was so wide that she could have gone anywhere in there up until about the 10-yard line where the defense was waiting. The handoff was fumbled, and I was just about to mention that we were now seeing the third quarterback of the U.S. team, Brittany Bushman, referee was first pointing one way and everyone's pointing the other. So Sweden, in fact, recovered the fumble. It was a fumble after the handoff, and the Swedish players jumped right on top of it. There was a commotion right there. But yes, it was the Swedish players who got to the ball first. Motion across by Sauers. I mean, the defender is not motioning across, but following her wide receiver. For a second, I got confused about which side is on offense. And it doesn't help that one of the Sauers twins is actually a wide receiver and the other one is a defensive back. So sorry about that confusion. It was actually a 1-yard gain by the Swedish team on this play. Lined up at the left hash with 8 yards to go. The Swedish coach is angrily explaining something to the team right underneath the booth, so he's not very happy with the defense's performance, it seems. Or maybe he is happy and he's just encouraging them. Unfortunately, I don't speak Swedish. But it had to be a happy thought because the defense actually recovered a fumble. So this was a positive development for the defense. We have 7 minutes and 14 seconds to go. There is a timeout on the field. It is 77-0 in the fourth quarter. On this first day of the 2013 Women's World Championships. There are 6 teams here. 4 of the teams are from Europe and 2 of the teams are from North America, but that does not mean that there are no other teams in the world. In fact, there are several more teams not only in Europe but in other parts of the world. They are not here yet this year, and the reasons are manifold. For some teams it is financial, for some teams it is political, for some teams it's just that they don't have the numbers yet in terms of players. But women's football is a developing sport, a very quickly and rapidly developing sport in many corners of the world, which is wonderful news for the tournament organizers as well, because that means that if all goes well at the next tournament, they can expand the number of teams from 6 to 8 and have 2 groups of 4 to play. So Sweden is lined up on the 3rd down. The snap and handoff was kind of bobbled, picked up by Sauers and run into the end zone on this play. This did not go well for the Swedish team. So it was a defensive touchdown for the U.S. team. The handoff was fine. I mean, the snap was fine. The handoff was right where it should have been, but somehow it hit the running back in the stomach and bounced out of there. Sauers was right there to pick it up in stride and run it into the end zone. Right place, right time. And the extra point kick is good. That's 7 more points now for the United States, defending world champions. The score is now 84-0, with 6 minutes and 42 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
558, thank you.
There was a quick correction to the stadium clock by the referee. So it is actually 5 minutes and 58 seconds left. So a little bit less time than the clock had originally said. So as I was saying, women's football is rapidly developing in a lot of places in the world. At the last tournament, what we learned was that even though the US team was the dominant force, if we only looked at the other teams, they played games that were really close and they were on par with each other. So that means the level was consistent, and it was the game's home country, the United States, that was miles ahead of everybody else in that tournament. And we will see if that's still the case in this tournament, but so far against Sweden, they are definitely showing the same dominant play. Now, of course, Sweden, as we mentioned, is a very young team with only a few years experience, but they are very determined and they are very tough young ladies who I'm sure will be able to use this experience to develop the sport further, and they are very excited to play here and to play against the US team tonight. And this is something that they can use in the future to develop every aspect of the play, to see on video what they did and what the US team did and how they can develop these things further. At the last tournament, it was Austria that ended up in 6th place, and they are not here this year. But instead of Austria, we had a newcomer, Spain. They lost their first game against Finland, but they were very, very excited to be here. Also a very young team. They have a league in Spain that is only a few years old as well, and they play 7-on-7 in their league. So their solution to the problem of not having enough players is to actually just reduce the size of the teams for the games to make sure that everybody can play and they can play more games. So that's one of the solutions that you can see in some countries, to play 9-on-9 or even 7-on-7 football. The other solution was what Sweden did with developing a national team and having national team training camps first, and then starting a league when there were enough players and enough experience to do so. It is 3rd down for Sweden. 3rd and about 11 or 12 yards. Quarterback keeps it and runs up to the right to try to pass to Amanda Allison, number 9, but it is intercepted by Brightson. Sorry, it was Brownson, number 21, not number 24. There is a flag on the play. So you can see the rerun of the play. There's a long pass down the right sideline. There seems to have been some contact there. And this was ruled a pass interference. So it is a 15-yard penalty and a 1st down for Sweden because of the pass interference. I did not catch who the referee called for pass interference, where it was Bronson or Gore. Gore seemed to make some contact while the ball was still in the air. And Brownson was also there with her arms around the receiver, but I did not see as much contact as usually is for an interference call, but it was definitely contact, so I think it was a good call by the ref. It's a full start penalty on Team Sweden. It is 1st and 15. 4 minutes and 51 seconds to go. The score is 84-0. Teams around the world that we know are playing women's tackle football, but have not been able to be here at this tournament this year. In the meantime, you can see a nice toss play to number 2, Sophia Backman. She ran for about 5 yards on this play. From the shotgun snap, it was tossed out, and the tackle was sort of made by number 44, Victoria Eddy. So other teams in the world that are definitely playing women's football: Team Australia, Team Japan, and Team Mexico. And also in Europe, there is Team Italy, and of course Team Austria. They're still playing football. They did not stop playing football just because they're not here at this tournament. And there's Team Hungary, or in fact the Budapest Wolves, playing in the Austrian Football League every year. And there are many, many other places where there are women playing or beginning to play tackle football. There are also many places where women play flag football and are interested in taking it to the next level. First, maybe semi-contact and then full-on tackle football. So this is definitely something that is worth looking into in the world, as more and more teams are beginning to play this game. And so even if it's just, quote unquote, just 5-on-5, 7-on-7, or 9-on-9, that is still a good start for teams. So don't be afraid if you are interested in organizing a women's tackle football league in your country, or if you are interested in starting a team in your city. There are many, many resources for you to look into, starting with the IFAF website and Facebook page and the website of this World Tournament, www.WWC2013.com. You can also, of course, find the statistics and information about the games here, about the teams, and see this live feed for every single game live over the internet from any corner of the world. The game times are posted in Helsinki time, which is, I believe, GMT +2, although now it is summertime, so it might be +3. Please check with your local provider. Please check with the encyclopedia and check what time zone you are in to make sure you do not miss any of the games. For Hungarian viewers, I can tell you that it is 1 hour behind Helsinki, so that is Central European time, which is 1 hour behind Helsinki time. With 2 minutes and 33 seconds left, Sweden has the ball on 4th down. So it is a punt down the middle, slightly to the left, but it bounces backwards. It is fielded by the returner and returned for a couple of yards before being tackled. Ball will be placed at the 34, 33-yard line. We'll see. 84-0 with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. It's about the 32-yard line that the first down marker is placed. So it's American first down. Team USA with the ball. It's just over 2 minutes left. 84 points on the board. It is Karen Mulligan back at quarterback. Shotgun snap, handoff to the running back. Beautiful blocking by the O-line. And number 28, Brandy Hatcher, gains about 8 or so yards on this play. You can see the dominant offensive line, 72, 74. Both of them made crucial blocks on this play. Tammy Engelman and Rebecca Worsham, both O-linemen. Those blocks are just crucial to make some yardage on each play. And that's how you can move the ball ahead. If you can see your O-lineman getting upfield. Handoff to Alexis Snyder, who runs it for a first down up the middle. And there's only about a minute left, a minute and 20 seconds on the clock. With the U.S. steadily advancing the ball. Let's see if we can see a couple more plays from the U.S. team in this game. Four receivers, one back, and another handoff. Beautiful blocks by Worsham. And a nice run by Hatcher. So you can see, once again, pulling linemen, 2 of them, making sure that they take all the would-be tacklers out of the way. And then it is finally, I would say, one of the best players tonight on the Swedish team, Anna Jenberg, who has made a lot of tackles. Unfortunately, this one didn't end well for her because she is still on the field. And it does not sound good. It is going to be an injury timeout. What often happens on tackles to players is that sometimes they fall on their arms in a way that twists them. So I have seen some dislocated elbows before. This could be something similar. But I really hope that it's not anything dislocated. There are only about 37 seconds left, so this is basically the very end of this game. It would be very unfortunate if one of the best defenders on the Swedish team would not be able to return for the rest of the tournament. So we will have some time while the doctors are examining the player on the field. In the meantime, I have not introduced the coaches on the teams. So let me talk a little bit about them. The head coach on the Swedish team is Johan Stedin. And the head coach on the U.S. team is John Konecki, who is also the head coach of the Chicago Force team. You could see in the rear end that it seemed to be her arm that is injured. So back to the coaches, John Konecki was also the head coach of the 2010 World Champion women's football team of the United States. So he has returned with the team to reclaim or defend the title and has brought back 14 returning world champions. But there's also a world champion on the coaching staff, Mrs. Julie Shockley, who was a running back on the 2010 World Championship team and was the second leading rusher on the team behind Jessica Springer. She has returned with the team, but she is now a coach, along with her husband, John Shockley, who at the Stockholm tournament was my broadcast partner. They are escorting the player off the field. Anna Jenberg, she has received a huge round of applause from everybody. She played very, very well, and as you could see in the slow motion reruns, this was definitely her arm that just got under as she made the tackle. It got under the player being tackled, and the U.S. Elected to take a knee on this play, not take this further. There are 10 seconds left, so the game is effectively over. Unfortunately, it ended on such a play that led to an injury, which unfortunately is part of any sporting activity, any athletic event. There are injuries. That should not deter people from trying any sports, and as many people can testify, there are not more or really different types of injuries in football than any contact sport in the world. It's always the ankles and the knees in any sport. So let's try to get back on a happier note and wish both of the teams luck for the upcoming games and the tournament, and make sure that there are no more injuries, which once again is partly a matter of luck, right place, right time. And the players have lined up at midfield for the MVP ceremony. After each game, the MVPs are announced, a defensive and an offensive MVP, and they receive a little present. So the MVP from the Swedish team is actually number 1, Emma Bendorf, a defensive back. So she is the defensive MVP for this game, and she received her award from Shige Watanabe, the tournament director. And the MVP from the U.S. side is quarterback Sami Grusafi, who is now going to accept the award from Mr. Watanabe. Once again, a dominant performance by the starting quarterback and by the entire U.S. national team. It is 84-0 after this game against Sweden. On Tuesday, we will see Sweden take the field against Germany, and then on Thursday, we will see the U.S. play Germany. So come back and take a look at our live feed on Tuesday. Even if the U.S. team's not playing and you are from the U.S., make sure you tune in to see the other opponent, Germany. And if you are from Germany, your team is starting play on Tuesday. Tuesday, we will also see Canada, Team Canada. They are here, they are practicing, and they are ready to rumble. And already today, we have seen Team Finland and Team Spain. So please come back on Tuesday. Have a very good evening or night or day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Anna. I will be here all week. So please send any comments to the IFAF Facebook page, and they will make sure they get them to me. I will see all of you, hopefully, on Tuesday, or I will not see you, but you will hear me for sure. And have a great Monday tomorrow. And I am out. Good evening, everybody.